Hi guys, welcome to book club number 29. Come on in. We are talking about this book. Come on in, tell me where you're signing in from. Where are you in the book, if you have even read the book? And come on in, we're going to continue our discussion on love and relationships. Join me, tell me where you're joining me from. Having coffee. Come on in, everyone. Good to see you. Chapter 10. Imani, you're in chapter 10. You're doing really good. Orna, hi from Toronto. B. Gill has ordered her book. Thank you, thank you. Soon to start part 4. Buying the book today. Melissa. Florida, Aspen, I see you joining in. Track O'Neill just got the book. Yuma, Arizona, just started reading. I love it. Okay, so in this book, A Radical Awakening, I take you on a path, and I take you on a path on several layers of your awareness and your consciousness. I take you to your psychology, right? And how does one go to one's psychology? Sorry, there's only one way. You have to go back to your childhood crap. So I take you there, and how your childhood has signatured a very unique way of dealing with the world, which I call your faces of the ego. We all have them, no escaping it. And so the sooner you get to recognize yours, the better. So I do that in the book. And then I help you to really break down how your belief systems have been marauded, abducted by culture, and you've never really asked how, why, who, really. You've never really questioned it. So because of our childhood conditioning, and then because of our cultural conditioning, our own authentic spirit has really been squeezed of its genuine, spontaneous joy. And we have suppressed our truth, wondering why we are so unhappy, not really understanding why. And it's only when you begin to read books like this, or listen to teachers, or do your own inner work, that you begin to have a language as to why on earth you've been suffering, right? Why you've been unhappy, why you've been anxious, why you've been overeating, why you've been in relationships where you don't feel nurtured. You begin to understand. You're like, oh, I get it. So this book, A Radical Awakening, is really for you to wake up, to see why you have been caged in your own dysfunction, okay? And then I give you a pathway out of it. So there's a whole section of this book where it's all about the lies we tell. So yesterday I talked about the lies around love. If you're interested, go to yesterday's book club or the last book club to go and understand the lies we've told ourselves about love. But I want to continue that today. So as I said yesterday, this whole idea that you need to go find your soulmate and find love and fall in love, and these are ideals that are false. There is no such thing as you have to go find your love. Your love is not going to ever be found, because it's not something that occurs from your determination to find it. Now, sure, can you go on Match.com and like put yourself out there? Sure, but that's still not going to work if you don't understand what you are about. The one you're going to go find is you. And until you do enough work on yourself, even if you found the next one really fast, you would fall into the same patterns again. Because you haven't yet found you, and you're taking another's childhood pain on your back. So this whole idea of falling in love and finding the one, all romantic, Disney ideas that sell a lot of tickets and make a lot of money, but they are not about the real way to find love. And you know why? Because the real way to find love is not sexy. It cannot be finished in a 2-hour movie, and there is no happy ending. It's just a lot of inner work and process and awareness. So that's not sexy. That doesn't sell movies. So I'm here to tell you the truth. I'm here to tell you what it is really about. That there is no such thing as some magical person out there. Trust me, there isn't. Because even if there was, if you are not your own magical person, you will F that relationship up. So this idea that your one is out there, and call in, get the one, imagine the one, manifest the one, all not going to work if you are not the one for yourself. If you are not the one for yourself. So understand that culture has sold us this hallmark version of love, and that's why we're in dysfunctional relationships, because we have been sold an idea. It's an idea of romance, of happily ever after. It's a fantasy. And the reason we all want this fantasy is because we all want to just displace all our own inner work onto the relationship. Now I'm in a relationship, so I'm going to blame the relationship. The relationship should make me happy. He should make me happy. She should make me happy. The relationship should make me happy. People come to me saying, oh my goodness, I entered this relationship and I got lost. And I always say, no, my love, the relationship didn't lose you. You entered the relationship lost. The relationship was only a mirror of your lostness. Don't ever, ever have the audacity to blame the relationship. When you blame the relationship or you blame someone else, what this really means is you really have no value in yourself. You really think you are not important. You really think that you are absolutely hapless, helpless, a puppet. You really don't realize how much power you have. Whenever you are in blame of another person or resentment beyond, okay, I'll give you 3 days, okay? You got to be in blame and resentment for 3 days, okay? 3 days you can be really upset and curse the other out, blame the other one, blame the relationship, blame his mother, blame her sister. Okay, no problem. But after 2-3 days of blaming someone, if you haven't realized that it is not them, it is not the damn relationship, and it is all you, even if it was an abusive relationship, the fact that you stayed in an abusive relationship was you. So ultimately it's you. So once you realize that it's you, and you give yourself the power that, wow, you fooled yourself. You missed the red flags yourself. You refuse to see the flag as red, even though it was clearly red. You're like, no, it's gray. And if you don't take ownership of your power, what you're really saying is that you're not powerful and the relationship is more powerful than you. And how can that be? No relationship is more powerful than us. No other person is more powerful than us. No, 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 no way. So when you are stuck in blame and resentment of the other, or in deep pain over a relationship more than a certain certifiable normal period of time, you are actually giving your power away. You're actually telling yourself, oh, you're not important. He was important. She was important. It was important. No relationship has the power to make you unhappy unless you consent to it. You endorse it. You allow it. Right? And I'm not talking about bypassing. Don't bypass. If you're in pain, have pain, but have the right pain. The pain of your own unconsciousness. Don't have the pain of the other's unconsciousness. That's deflecting on them. Go through the pain. Don't try to get to happy. I'm not talking about that. Be in pain, but be in the right kind of pain. The pain where you are seeing the pain of your own pattern, where you're seeing the pain of your own unconsciousness. That's the right kind of pain. Most of us have the kind of pain of just regret or blame or resentment toward the other. That pain is not going to make you grow. That pain is just going to keep you stuck. So if you really want to have pain, have the right kind of pain. So most of our relationships, once we wake up, we realize were attachment-based relationships. They were based on craving or chemistry or desire or give or take or transactionality, right? They were based on possession, on need, on control, on fear. Basically on your little self, not your powerful adult self. Most of us have been in relationship with each other based on each other's 5-year-old selves, you know? And you're like, I don't even like your 5-year-old self. And they're like, I don't like yours. Right? We think we are getting into relationships with adults because our eyes do us tricks. Our unconsciousness does us tricks. We are looking for surrogate mommy and daddy. And out of this dependency and attachment, we get blinded and blind-sighted and blind-sighted, and we lose our awareness that we are just in a codependent relationship of some sort or the other. Possession is not love, dependency is not love, ownership is not love, control is not love. Love is only one thing: our capacity to be authentic and our capacity to feel free. And that permission is not given by the other person or the relationship. Don't ever give a relationship more voice, more power, or more credence than you give your own relationship to yourself. Like I said yesterday, you are truly loving the other when every act of love for the other is firmly implanted in love for the self. So when people say, oh, Dr. Shefali, I love you, I know that I am just a mirror of their self-love. Them loving me is an expression of their self-love. It has nothing to do with me. Similarly, when they say, I hate you, Dr. Shefali, I know it has nothing to do with me. It is a reflection of their own relationship with themselves. So it is with all human beings. When you choose to love someone, though, remember, don't love someone else if it's clearly an act of hatred toward yourself. Because that's bullshit love. That is total fake love. It's a lie love. It's nonsense love. It's exploitation. Because if you're exploiting yourself to be loving to the other, you're actually exploiting them as well. True love toward another cannot emanate in a body that is self-loathing. So if you want to truly enter your power, you have to allow yourself to enter your true self-love. And true self-love is freedom. Freedom can never be given through the relationship. If your relationship stifled you, it's because you stifled you. If you gave power to the other person to be your daddy, to be your leader, to be your whatever, big brother, it's because you were still in a infantile state of psychological and emotional development. So you were not grown up yet. But that's okay. We're all like that. And with each relationship, we grow. And with each relationship, we begin to take our power back, right? And then we realize, okay, I don't even need this relationship. And that's okay. That's okay, because ultimately, you're not in a relationship to need the damn person. You're in a relationship because it is an act of self-love. When you're with the person, it is making love to yourself. When you're with the other person, you are your own most magical free self. Only then please be with the other person, right? Otherwise, don't do it. Otherwise, just say, we are in a transactional relationship. I need you, okay? Or we need to stay together for the sake of the family appearance. Or we need to stay together for the children. Just own it. Now, I know you can't own it. I mean, many cannot own it. It's hard, but at least own it to yourself. At least to yourself, you can say. And when you look for relationships of whatever gender, straight or gay, it doesn't matter, platonic or romantic or intimate or not, make sure you know what kind of relationship you're getting into. You can say, this relationship is transactional, this relationship is intimate, this call it what this one is possessive, this one is controlling, this one is dependent, and in this relationship I'm 5 years old, in this relationship I'm growing up a little bit, so that you can be honest, right? Please don't think that you are talking about true love, because true love, do you know how hard it is? It is virtually impossible to enter a true love relationship. Why? Why do I say that? Because we are not in a true love relationship with ourselves. And when you are in a true love relationship with yourself, then your act of loving the other is an expression of self-love. So if you are not happy in that relationship and you're not in self-love, you cannot be with the other. You're like, I need to leave because now I am not in an expression of self-love. It has nothing to do with the other person. So if the other person calls you an idiot and a fool and a moron, right? Suppose right now in the room, somebody's here and calls me a stupid moron idiot, okay? Like seriously trying to degrade me or whatever they call me, okay? Instead of me yelling at them, how could you call me stupid idiot moron? How could you and have a big fight and a sulk, which I used to do my entire life. Now I've realized, oh, I need to go. Is it an act of self-love if I sit here? Oh, it isn't. Get your ass up then. Simple. It has nothing to do with the other person. Do you understand? Nothing to do with the other person. So if the other person would like to change or the other person wants to improve, then they'll improve and show up in your life. You don't have to sit around and wait for them to improve anymore. Real queens don't wait, okay? Now I know many of us have waited all our lives, like begging, waiting, pleading, underlying all the books. Please, do you see this? Don't do it anymore. Understand that people will not wake up until they want to wake up. Nobody wakes up, even though it's so obvious to you, and you're like, hello, you're so intelligent, how can you not put two and two together? Don't even go there. Because intelligence has nothing to do with wisdom. Intelligence has nothing to do with wisdom. Do you know how long it took me to learn that? How much I banged my head, but he's so smart, but she's so smart, but he's so smart. And then one day Dr. Shefali told me, intelligence has nothing to do with wisdom. I was like, okay, why didn't you say it before? So Dr. Shefali told me it's because I thought you were intelligent to figure it out yourself. But obviously you're not. I so wasn't. I really thought smart people were wise people. Like, hello. Now I realize you need intelligence to be wise, but intelligence doesn't mean wisdom. If you're wise, it means you're intelligent. But intelligence doesn't mean wisdom. So we have a lot of smart people in the world who are utter damn fools. Okay? Just sorry. Just the way it is. Just the way it is. Anyway, so this idea of love really gets us into trouble. And we really think it's about the other person. And this is what I'm here to debunk today, to get it out of your head. Nothing to do with the other person. Nothing to do with the relationship. So please, if the relationship breaks up, yeah, cry 2-3 days, 4-5 days, 10 days, 20 days. Okay, how much you want to cry? After that, you got to wake up and go, how did I co-create my reality? What does this say about me? What are my patterns that I need to change? How did I do this all over again? How did I do repeat? How amazing am I that I'm so predictable, right? So you got to ask the right questions, yes? And then you got to understand what I'm telling you, that loving another is only an expression of yourself. Otherwise, get your ass up and leave. Simple. Either you're loving yourself or you're hating yourself. It has nothing to do with the other person, okay? For years and years, we women have been trained to take the shit, to take the bullshit, because we should compromise, we should sacrifice, we should keep the family together. So, all that bullshit is all to say, hate yourself, loathe yourself, put yourself last. It's all a bunch of shit. I shall now talk beautifully and not use 4-letter words. It is excrement. It is defilement. It is putrescence. It is gutter. Okay, so these lies that we women have been told to be lovely, to be nice, to be this, is all really basically lie to yourself, bullshit yourself, don't love yourself, right? So when our parents tell us things like, but at least he didn't hit you, at least he didn't break your arm, right? I was with a boyfriend once, my mother told me, at least he wasn't an alcoholic. I said, Mom, thanks. Thank you. I think I can do a little better. I mean, not that alcoholics are bad, but, she's like, at least he didn't, rape you. I'm like, thank you. Thank you for your vote of confidence, right? Don't you love it when people say that? At least he didn't or she didn't steal all your money and your underwear. You're like, yeah, you're right. At least they didn't steal my underwear. Wow. I'm really, really a good chooser of people. Look, I know how to read character. Wow. So, yes, the bar is set so low. So remember that every act of being in a relationship is a mirror of how you treat yourself. That's how I think now. I don't even wonder about Sam, Samantha, Michael, and Jamie. I don't even look who it is. I ask myself, is this an act of self-love or not? If it's not, what the hell are you still doing there? Why are you having this conversation? And then I say to my wise self, it's because I forget. I forget all the time that it's not about the other person. But they're sitting right in front of me and talking to me. How is it not about the other person? This is the discipline you have to have. This is called wisdom. Intelligence says, they're talking to me, it's about them. Wisdom says, it's not about them. See, what a big difference between intelligence and wisdom. You're like, hello, there's somebody talking to me. It's about them. He's an asshole. She's an asshole. Wisdom says, it's not about them. You're the asshole for sticking around with the asshole. Wisdom kicks butt. Okay, I'll just tell you. Wisdom doesn't give a shit about your ego. Wisdom doesn't care about your tears. Wisdom is going to like slap you, spiritually slap you awake and go, it is, you want the truth or you don't? So I always tell my clients like this, do you want the truth or do you want me to just cuddle your ego? They're like, no, I want the truth. And when I give the truth, they're like, okay. I said, I asked you if you wanted the truth. You said yes. You were bullshitting? They're like, yes. So the truth is hard, you guys. So here is a book full of truth, I think. Let me see if there's anything I have misrepresented in this book. I think to the degree that I could be bold, I was, but I will tell you, there's some truths I didn't put in this book. Because my ego said, are you crazy? Don't put more truths. This is enough. So there's some big truths I didn't put in this book. What to do? But the truths that are in here are right, are correct, are spot on. So if you want to get a dose of truth, go read my book, A Radical Awakening. That's what I have for you today, guys. To debunk the idea of love. Love is only an expression of the self. It is only an indication and a mirror and an echo and a resonance of how deeply you honor your own being. If you don't honor your own being, you never have to be in an abusive relationship in your life, ever. Do you understand? And if you have to stay in a marriage because it's abusive, remember, you can go to the next room, you can go to your sister's house, you can call the police, you can do many things. You know, we women are trained to be so afraid of confrontation. I am terrified of conflict, believe it or not. I'll do anything to no conflict. But I've learned I had to push myself to grow into tolerating the discomfort of conflict. You know, I was in a phone conversation with 3 men a year ago on a conference call. And one of them didn't want the other one there. Okay, so there are 3 men and Shefali. One man said, okay, so say it's X, Y, and Z. X says, you know what? I don't want Z there. In front of Z. Never met them before. I had people on my team coming together for the first time. X meet Y, meet Z. X says, I'm not comfortable with Z there. In front of Z. And I'm like, he didn't mean that, Z. He didn't mean that. You know, maybe I was getting all nervous because I was in my toxic femininity. And guess what? Z told X, I can see why you don't want me and why it makes you uncomfortable. And X said, yeah, it really makes me uncomfortable. And then Y said something. And then the 3 men talked it over. And they created some new parameters to stay. And Z stayed and X was happy and Y was happy. And I was like, what did I just see here? Women never talk like this. They were so comfortable being bold and confrontive. They didn't give a shit. And you should have seen me on hyperactive overdrive, like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, they're going to hate each other. I cannot allow this to happen. We have to love each other. Kumbaya, kumbaya. We have to get along. And the three men negotiated a new dynamic so beautifully. And that's how I realize day to day and more each day how men live in a world which we women don't. We have been raised in toxic femininity to be passive, to be weak, to be sweet, to be mild, and to put ourselves last. And this is what we take into our love relationships, and we allow ourselves to get abused. So if you really want to become a free woman, grab my book, A Radical Awakening. And I will see you in the next book club. Bye guys. Be strong. Be true.